just making sure you have this. Let's say you have this number here, 6, 3, 9, 4, 5, 2. You probably don't have this, but let's write this down here. Just making sure everybody knows. We've talked about this before. Place value simply means where a number is, tells you how much it's worth. And the first place here is what we call just the ones place. It's also called the units. Ones and units. And then the second place is the tens place, right? Third place is the hundreds. And the fourth place is the thousands. Fifth place over is the 10,000s. And then this last one we're going to talk about today is the 100,000s place. I can write that in there. 100,000s place. And this lesson here really doesn't get much into it, other than you being able to read and write those numbers down. Other than being able to read and write those numbers down. When you read big numbers, most of us are pretty good at reading the small numbers. Okay, ready to go.
We actually already did place value now.
Good. Yeah, do you have this number there? Do you have those place values? Did we go up to 100,000?
No.
So you can jot those down. Review is always a good thing. Back to this, yeah. We're pretty good about saying the small numbers, but when we get to the bigger numbers, it gets a little more difficult. And that's why we have a comma. We put commas in big numbers because you can easily see what place value these things are. And we separate these into what we call periods here. You know, this one here, these four are pretty easy because they're the units ones. And this one here is in the thousands period. And when you say them, or even when you write them, those commas are important because that's how you split up the number. If I asked you to read this number here, if I asked you to read that number there, how would you read it? Well, you start with this group first, and you say 639,000. 630-9,000. And if there's a comma here, there's a comma when I write it in words. And notice there's no word and there, children. You don't put the word and in there. It is just then 452. 452. 639,452. If I asked you to write or say that number there, who wants to take a shot at that number there? And again, the comma separates the parts that you would say. Ava Robbins, it would be. Are you Ava Robbins? Ava Russell, I'm sorry. Sorry.
70,863.
Yeah, except there's no and in there. It is 70,863. 70,863. Very good. How about this one? 601,101. 601,101. Grayson, how do you say that number there?
600.
Yep. Say this part first.
601,101.
Very good. 600,001. How about David?
200,000.
200,000 too. That's all there is to it. About 101, 101. 101, Caleb?
101,101.
Yeah, 100,000, 101,101. Perfect. Now you need a whole new blank piece of paper, and this one you do want to write down the notes. Can anybody tell me right off the bat what ordinal numbers are? In the book, of course. Good. So you'll learn something new today. You certainly didn't want to just say that. Writing numbers in 100,000. Ordinal numbers, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, if you ask 90% of people, they probably don't want to be able to tell you what these are. But you use them virtually every day. Okay. The ordinal numbers are the numbers that we use to show or name position. Used to name position. For example, here's the deal. I'll write this down. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You are playing in a tournament. If you finish, if this is where you finish, if you finish in the top spot, we don't say you finished in one place. We use the ordinal for that, which is first place. This is the ordinal. It describes a place. And usually, sometimes we write it like this. First is first. First is first. Two place is actually our second place. And we show that as second. Third place is third. Fourth is fourth, and you do these all the time, and then so on and so on and so on. We'll just write these down. Fifth is fifth. Oops. This is sixth place. We've got seventh place. Or what grade, what place you are in school. Seventh grade or sixth grade. Eighth place. And ninth place. We're not going to list them all, but what happens if you finished in 70, the place you were the 75 person? How do we, what's the ordinal for 75? And how do we know? Al?
75th.
Right, 75th. Whatever the last digit is that lines up with, you have to use that. So 75th, you have to put the TH there. If it was this, if you're in 72, it's the 72nd place. Because the 2, anytime it ends with the 2, you're going to have the ND. If it ends in a 3, you're going to have the RD. If it ends in a 1, you're going to have the ST, and otherwise everybody else gets the THs, which is something you use all the time, so it should be. It doesn't seem right to say something you finished in the 88erd. You can't even say it. Maybe that's why you can't even say that. 88erd? 88erd?
You're in the 88th place.
88th place? No. It's 88th place. Now, I need you to write this problem. This is on the same piece of paper. I got to switch gears here. Please understand this. Here's a problem. Write this one down. Tom was the 4th person in a line of 10. Tom was the 4th person in a line of 10. In a line of 10. How many people were in front and how many people were in back of him? How many people in front and how many in back? Oh, Tom, give you a chance to write that down. Tom was the fourth person in a line of 10. How many people were in front and how many people were in back? Now, fifth graders, I will tell you this gazillions and thousands of times, okay? I am relatively sure most of you can tell me the answers, and maybe most of you would get it right. But I'm not so much concerned in the answers as I am concerned in how you're going to get the answer. And anytime there is a word problem or a story problem like this, I very, very much want to see you, what I say, sketch the problem out. And it doesn't have to be elaborate, but I'd like for you to be able to see the problem more than just give me the answer. So, if Tom's the fourth person in line, this would be all I would really like to see on your paper. You can draw little stick figures if you like.
Yeah.
Okay, or you could just go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here are all the people in a line. If you want to make them stick figures. Is there a chance you could like sit there and not make no comments all through the whole time? 1, 2, 3. Tom is the fourth person in line, so here is Mr. Tom. There he is. And the question asked you how many people were in front and how many were in back. Well, it's easy to see how many people are in front. 1, 2, 3. How many people were in back? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 in front, 6 in back. Okay, I need for you, it's a good habit for you to get in, because yes, while you maybe can do a lot of 5th grade math in your head or whatever, when you get to 7th and 8th grade when math becomes incredibly difficult, it's just a good idea for you to train yourself to sketch it out so you can look at it and see it rather than just read about it. Does that make any sense to anybody but the teacher? Probably not, but that is just a good idea. Very good then. That ends today's incredibly exciting mathematical lesson about